The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely. First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit, I don't want to get ducted and anal.
This film is not rated.
The following feature has been rated R by the Motion Picture Association of America.
When I turn the power on, a special transmitter attached to the headset will begin to send carefully calibrated radio waves that will in turn begin to have sexual thoughts, which will then travel through the headset where it's converted to video. Any questions?
Will I get a Woody, sir?
We're spending it on
X-ray specs.
and they turn into bimbos. We have a practical use for the softboards made up of genetically altered women with large breasts.
The twisted fate of man creates a last great challenge.
But you have to take care of yourself.
Deborah Reynolds, star of Dallas, leads a band of outlaw survivors against the road pirates. Cannibals, wasters, and mutant dark raiders of the future on the road to destruction.
The city of New York are living catacombs, an endless maze of subterranean tunnels, unfit for anything human, unauthorized for anything experimental.
Hold it! There's something moving up ahead in the tunnel!
And unlikely to bring anyone down there. So, they're coming up. Chud. Chud, check your basement and your bathroom. Keep off the street and try to hide. But remember, the dark is their place. The night is their time. And tomorrow, the only things living in the city of New York will be Chud. Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. Chud. They're not staying down there anymore.
For Hey, Zombo, I would do anything to be on your show.
Ooh, anything?
Anything, except eat a bug.
Anything else?
Anything else.
Anything?
Anything.
Ooh, how about taking some acting lessons?
Never mind the bollocks. Here's Horror Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Horror Mike Show on this fine and fiendish Fright Day evening. I hope you're all doing well. I'm doing pretty well myself. And soon I'll be doing even better, okay? It's been a hell of a week. I'm sure many of you can attest to that as well. But hey, it's the weekend, bros. So a toast to you all on this fine Fright Day evening. We just saw a whole bunch of stuff that is, well, it's hard to categorize. And I'm not quite sure that I want to, but we did see a little bit of Zombo with the Rat Girl. Oh, yeah. If you haven't seen Zombo, Zombo is on the Monster Channel. He's a horror host. He's also on Other Worlds TV. Both of those channels are really quite good. So if you like horror hosts with your horror and science fiction movies, check out those channels. And of course, we saw a little bit of one of our favorite clips here on the Horror Mike Show, and that is the camping massacre from The Prophecy, the John Frankenheimer film from 1978. And before that, we saw a little clip called The Hungry Heifer. Yeah, that's from Critters 2, folks. Guess what? We got a whole lot of critters tonight, as well as Chud. Oh, yes, those cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers that we all know and love. We're going to be taking a good look at those guys as well. We've got living dead girls. We've got sexy gator babes, believe it or not. We've got hungry and horny vampires on the prowl tonight. This program is just loaded tonight, folks. Wait until you see what your pal Horror Mike has in store for you. For Christ's sake. But first, the trailer we saw opening this whole thing up was for First Man on Mars, which is my film, folks. Yes, that is my film. I'm copping to it. In other words, I'm going to admit to that right now. And I'm putting the link in the chat right now, folks. And there it is. That is my website, horroranthologymovies.com, First Man on Mars Blu-ray. Check it out. It's $8.95 cheap, folks. That's what I'm talking. It's a brand spanking new Blu-ray, signed and numbered. And that number that you get automatically enters you into the contest to win one of two movie props that were used in the film First Man on Mars. So if you're interested, look, if you like a good sci-fi horror comedy, you're going to like First Man on Mars a lot. So check that out. So we saw a ton of trailers there. Obviously, we're going to take a look at more tonight as the whole thing rolls along here, folks. But a couple of things to say right now. This is just something that it looks to be I think it's a sure deal. It's a 99% certainty. Okay. Horror Mike's getting a sponsor, folks. Yes. Your good old pal, Horror Mike, has finally landed a sponsor. Now, I will officially announce that next week. So hang on, hang tight. It's going to be quite the thing. So next week I will be officially announcing that sponsor. As I say, it's 99% sure. But until a couple of just minor things happen. I'm not going to spill the beans just yet. So we'll have to wait till next Friday on that. But sponsor time for Horror Mike, folks. Now, of course, as you guys are aware, I have my new book. It is Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. This is a 126-page book, all about original art from the pre-Code Comics era. And we have 12 complete stories in their original art format in this book, along with dozens of preliminary sketch covers, original art covers, and the final published full color covers in this particular book. Let me just show you a couple of examples to whet your appetite, folks. That's what I'm saying right now. Here we go. This is a beauty. Comic book fans may be aware of the genius of Sid Check. This story is absolutely fantastic. It's called Death Sentence, and it is Sid Check just in top-notch horror form. And it's all, of course, the original art. Now, with the original art, of course, you will see occasional blue line. You'll see paste-up spots, the whole thing, just like the cover here. As you can see, the yellowing, well, that's paste-up stuff, right? You know, that's where it happens there. And, of course, this cover is by the great Bernard Bailey for issue number 4 of Weird Mysteries, a fantastic pre-code horror comic book. And so there you go with that. Let me just show you one. There's some really great ones in here. There's so many great ones, folks, that, God. Well, this is one that I've shown you this before, but I think you'll totally dig it. It is the iconic Chamber of Chills number 19. Of course, the Misfits based their album cover on that particular piece of art by Lee Elias. The preliminary art was by Warren Kremer, but this is the Lee Elias cover art there, and then the final published cover, for example. 126 pages, folks. It ain't no joke. It's fantastic. And sales have been going very well. I am currently on number 39. 39, there's 100 signed and numbered copies, folks. And let me get the link to you real quick. There we go. Oops, that's not it. Okay. There we are, folks. Just head on over to ghostclinic.com. That's my website, which is totally about pre-code horror comic books. And you can buy it directly off the site, or you can go to eBay to purchase the book. So there you have it. There's only 100. I'm already closing in on 40 sold. So they're not going to last too long. So if you're kind of thinking about it, you may want to strike while the proverbial iron is hot. Let's put it that way, folks. Once again, that is, oh yes, pre-code horror comics, the original art edition right there. My good fiends. So without further hesitation, folks, let's get to the chat and see what's going down in the land of renown. As I put on top, welcome to the Horror Mike Show. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Please smash that like button. I greatly appreciate it. Everyone. I Am One of Us is here. Hello, I Am One of Us. Great to see you. Werewolf by Lunchtime is here. Our man from the future. He is 13 hours into the future, folks. Greetings, Mike and chat. Look forward to seeing the Sexy Gator Women. You're going to have to see this to believe it, and you are, Werewolf. Wait until you check this out. I can't believe it's on Tubi. It is. That's what I'm saying right now. PBR Street Gang is here. Hello, PBR. He's saying word to your mother right there. Kevin. Hello, Kevin Hellon. Great to see you, my good man. And also, yeah, now I'm going to announce this a little later in the show, but Kevin and I are going to do a particularly special episode next week, folks. And I'm going to give you the 411, the details on that very soon. You're going to want to check this out. It is next week's show. I think that's Friday, May the 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. My mother and I say hi, PBR. Jacob Bornowski is on the scene. Hello, Jacob. Great to see you, my good man. Norm loved to dine at the Hungry Heifer. Great show lined up tonight. It's going to blow your mind, Jacob. Oh, my God. Folks, wait until you see some of the stuff. I have not shown you everything. Just a good taste of what is to come. Sid Check always kind of reminded me of Wally Wood. I had no idea he collaborated with Frazetta on the Beware 10 cover. Yep, he inked it. Frazetta drew it. Sid Check inked that mother. And that is one fantastic freaking cover. Beware 10, folks. Check it out. Once again, there it is, ghostclinic.com to get my fabulous book. It's fabulous, folks. It's just simply freaking fabulous. Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition, right here. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Apex Comics is here. Hello, Apex Comics. Great to see you, my good fiend. How are you doing on this fine Friday evening? Good Lord. Everybody else is saying their hellos. Great. All right, folks. Now, as you guys recall, last Friday, I was talking, well, the show was about Blood Island, the Blood Island babes and everything, the Blood Island trilogy, the films and stuff. I did not have the comic books at that time. I've got them now, folks. They came Saturday, the next day. It's just a matter of timing. But here it is. Brian Usna presents Tales of Blood Island. Check out that freaking cover right there. Now, these comic books are 36 pages in length, and they are further meditations upon the Blood Island saga, okay? And they are hilarious. Now, this is issue number 1. This is cover A. And as you can see on the cover, it's signed by the artists and writers involved. This is cover B, which is also really tasty. Really, they're really taking this the concepts and just going nuts with it. Let's put it that way, as you can see by the cover there. So, just to give you a little, I want to get, let me find a nice gruesome shot for you. Pretty hilarious. Oh, there we go. This is, it's gory, folks. It's a gory comic book. I can direct your attention to that panel on the top there where the machete is just slicing that guy's head in half. You can expect a bit of that in Tales of Blood Island, right? Now, of course, as I was saying before, this was a Kickstarter campaign. They are supposed to be doing the 3rd campaign sometime this year. I think it's going to be in September. Okay, don't quote me on that, but I think that's what's going to happen. And they're probably going to have issues 1 and 2 available. The 3rd campaign will be for issue number 3. Right. And so there you go. And here they give you a glimpse into issue number 2. Great stuff. I think they all did a really fine job with these comic books. I'm looking forward to more. Also, now if you guys, watch any of my videos, you will know that this past week I did a video on EERIE number 23, which features this great Frank Frazetta Egyptian Queen cover. Just one of the great creepy or eerie covers of all time, in my opinion. So I covered issue number 1, which is, of course, features this cover. And I will be covering more. This is the EERIE archives from Dark Horse, and it covers issues 23 through 27. So I'm going to be doing a few more out of this book. It's quite good. Of course, like any of the Dark Horse archives, if you guys are familiar with them, they're really quite good, generally speaking. So got that sucker. Very happy with that. And one other thing that I just got, which is quite cool indeed, folks. Check this out. Yes, from Yo Books, Craig Yo and IDW, Yo Books. It is the Book of Zombies. Yes, pre-code horror tales about zombies. All kinds of people in here. Wally Wood is in here. Obviously Lee Elias. That is a Lee Elias cover from a famous issue of Chamber of Chills. I want to say issue 23 or 25. It's one of those highly sought after, covers. Absolutely fantastic. And there's actually a couple of original art tales in this as well. Let me show you a couple of things. And they do have a little cover section, which is really nice. Right in the middle, you have a cover gallery. So here's some Harvey Comics, Tomb of Terror, and Witches' Tales. It's really quite nice indeed. But he added a couple of original art. Yeah, like here. Live Man's Funeral. God, I want to say that's... Yeah, it's Al Ide. So Craig Yo has been known to add some original art stories in his books as well, and this is one of them. Generally speaking, the reproductions are really good. There are a couple of stories where I think they just pulled them directly from a comic book. So I don't know, the reproductions aren't as sharp as they could be. But typically, they're pretty damn good. Just beautiful. It starts off with Lynn Streeter. I Am a Zombie. Check that splash out, folks. That is just beautiful. Beautiful. So, needless to say, yeah, you're going to be seeing some videos about this book coming up on the Horror Mike channel over the next few weeks. Let's just put it that way. That's what's going on there. So that's what's going on with my, recent comic book or comic-related acquisitions. Let's get back to the chat because I know a few people have chimed in. Werewolf says, my copy could be on a plane right now. I'm sure it is, or it's landed already. It should have been, Werewolf, because that was sent days ago. I would imagine it's in transit to you. It may have landed in Australia by now, Hopefully it doesn't get shat on by an evil koala bear. I swear to God, they're just pure evil. You know what I'm saying? Apex says, I tried looking for Blood Island on Tubi. I can't find it. It is not on Tubi. None of the Blood Island films are on Tubi, Apex. I've got them on DVD. I've had the DVDs for years. You can get the DVDs on eBay pretty cheap. I see them, a lot of people selling in DVD form, not Blu-ray, but DVD for around $10. You can find them. And that's not bad at all. You know, it's one of those things. Tubi has never had them. They've never had any of the 3 films. So there you go. Apex says, that comic is not for 8-year-olds. No, it is not, Apex. Definitely an adult-oriented kind of comic book. Jacob says, George Lucas said that the queen on the cover of 23 is his inspiration for the Princess Leia outfit. Well, that could be. Kind of makes... Okay, I could see that, folks. Indeed, I can see that. Certainly. Redames is here. Hello, Mike from Brooklyn, New York. Hello, Redames. How are you doing? You know what word zombies came back? Okay. You know that word zombies came later back than they used to call them the undead. Yes. Well, they used to call them the undead. You're absolutely right. That is correct. Good to see you in the chat, Redames. Or Redams. One of the two. Or Redamus. That could be. Werewolf says, killer koalas versus the nudist colony. Good Lord, guys. All right. So, we've gone through all that stuff. Get ready, folks. This is totally insane. Now, first off, let's see here. I've covered that. Oh, yeah. Before we get to Tubi, guys, I want to bring your attention to this. Just real quick, like, Horror Mike's been a busy beaver, okay? I've been a freaking busy beaver. And so this is the brand new issue of Lovecraftiana. It is volume 9, issue 1, Walpurgisnacht. 2024 just came out yesterday. And guess what? Yeah, your favorite fiend, Horror Mike, is in it. I've got 3 pieces of art, maybe 4, inside this issue. And it's like 156 pages. It is available on Kindle for 99 cents, or unless you're, it's free on Kindle Unlimited, but it's 99 cents on Kindle normally. And then you can get the paperback for $9.99 on Amazon. So there you go. It's Lovecraftiana. Of course, I've had other pieces of art in previous issues of Lovecraftiana, and so this is just a brand new edition for Walpurgisnacht, my good fiends. So I wanted to point that out to you. Oh, yes. Yes, I did, folks. All right. Check it out. Get ready. There we go. I'm going to drop this way. There we go. Check it out, folks. All right. Man, this week is just total insanity. All right. Look, when I'm on Tubi, I'm looking for stuff that doesn't necessarily go together perfectly, but that has some kind of a thread to it, as you will see with tonight's presentation. And this is certainly no different. We're starting off here. Oopsie. There we go. We start off tonight with The Living Dead Girl. Living Dead Girl. Oh, sorry. Wait a second. Was Rob Zombie influenced by this film? I don't know. I never read anything about it. Maybe he was. But this is a Jean Rollin film. And let's put it this way. It's really a weird, erotic horror film. That's about the only way I can put it. Let me give you the description. A deceased heiress is accidentally reanimated when movers attempt to store drums of chemical waste in the burial vault below her uninhabited chateau. Directed by Jean Rollin, folks. And that guy is well known for his erotic horror flicks. He loves, of course, very graphic lesbian vampire films, for example. And so the thing about Rollin films is that typically they're very well photographed. The cinematography is, generally speaking, the cinematography is quite good. Sometimes they can kind of take their time and meander about a bit before getting to something. But once the gore starts, folks, it's kind of like a short, sharp shock or something. I mean, it just hits you and then it's gone, right? I mean, that's Jean Rollin's calling card. He's got all this beautiful stuff going on, beautiful scenery, beautiful women, of course. He just gets these amazing French women in his films, and everything's cool and it's looking all good. Suddenly there's blood, there's gashes in necks and blood spraying all over the room and all over the people and so forth. And that's what you get with The Living Dead Girl. I mean, it's one of those things where you're watching it. Sometimes, look, when I've seen it a couple of times, it's like you think, okay, this scene is a little too long. He could have paced it better. But then suddenly the next scene is just like absolutely balls to the wall insanity. And I've got a little trailer for The Living Dead Girl right here for you. Yes, French hotties on parade, folks. The Living Dead Girl, 1982. Now, look, if you like a rather, I'm not going to say it's slowly paced, it's deliberately paced. And then something really spectacular happens in the blood and gore department, and then it kind of goes back to its deliberate pacing. It's really well done. The photography is really good. If you've seen any Jean Rollin films, I think you'll agree. It's kind of like erotic gore, erotic horror. That's what he's going to deliver. And he delivers it with The Living Dead Girl. So I recommend it based upon those factors. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Next up, we're jumping into the 90s with a particularly queasy little film called Night of the Beast. Now, I was looking for a trailer for this film. The trailers they have are like in 240p. In other words, they suck. So you're going to have to kind of seek this one out or take a chance with it on Tubi. Here's the description. A disfigured movie producer lures actresses to star in his horror film, only to have them locked up in the dark and terrifying cells beneath the studio. Okay, that's basically it. There's some good stuff in it. It's a little more than that. I mean, that kind of is a very basic layout. But the underground cells and stuff are really kind of interesting. And of course, it delivers a lot of TNA. There's no doubt about that. That with this film, you're going to get a large sampling of TNA pleasure from Night of the Beast. The next film is a documentary in reality. Now, check this out, folks. Zombie-thon from 1986. Believe it or not, this is a horror documentary film from 1986. Now, Full Moon Features picked it up. As it says here, the living dead come alive in this documentary tribute to the creepiest undead in filmdom, from space zombies to others from all walks of death. Okay, so all manner of films are covered. Of course, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. You got Romero films in here. You also have Jean Rollin. Yes, Jean Rollin returns to us, folks, in Zombie-thon. Now, I could not find a good trailer for Zombie-thon. Once again, if you look on YouTube, the trailers are like 240p or some such bullshit, or 360p, just really not good at all. But I did find a trailer to Jean Rollin's Zombie Lake, which is in Zombie-thon. So let's take a look at Zombie Lake. At least it's part of the film. So I think you'll get a kick out of this one. There you go, folks. That's a little Zombie Lake, which you will find within the documentary film Zombie-thon from 1986. I just wanted to say it's an interesting thing because, okay, this documentary is from 1986. Folks, they were already doing documentaries about the popularity of zombie films in the mid-80s. Think about that. Consider that, and then what happened with zombie films into the 90s and into the 2000s. They exploded on yet another level, right? You know, for better or worse, often for worse, in my opinion. But, you know, I mean, it was already a phenomenon in the mid 80s. enough to make a documentary devoted to zombie films that had been made up to that point in 1986. Absolutely incredible Zombie-thon. Once again, Tubi has got fantastic documentary films on, on movies, on filmmaking, and so forth. It's quite good. The lineup is really quite nice indeed. Let me get back to the chat. I've noticed a few people have come in with some commentary, so I'm going to have to mosey on up and see what the hell we got. Yeah. Okay, Redames, thank you. I'm new to your channel, but a big fan so far. Thank you, Redames. I appreciate that, my good man. PBR says, there is a thing about EERIE 23 that Frank hated. If you see the original, you can see that she is looking in a completely different way than the renditions. Oh, that's weird. That is really weird. Actually, I'm going to have to do something right now. Okay, look, I never read about anything about that particular painting, but maybe PBR might know this. Okay, guys, let's solve a problem once and for all, or a mystery. How about that? A little mystery. What is the meaning of the Egyptian queen? Now, when you look at this painting, we have a couple of things. I mean, just from this painting alone. Now, PBR has mentioned that there was a change, but in this painting, the Egyptian queen herself is definitely worried, and of course she should be, because there is suddenly a the hell is that? A cheetah? I don't know. A cheetah or something. It's a big cat that just got loose, right? He's loose from his chains. And she's like kind of, pushing back against the pillar in terror. That's how I look at this. And then what is the guard doing? Is the guard about to act and try to save the princess, or is he trying to prevent her from escaping and to allow the large cat to eat her? What is going on there? Can I get a little input from the chat on that? What is going on? Because I look at it and I'm like, well, it could go either way. The guy, the guard there, what is he exactly is he doing? Because her exit for escape, well, she could be out that door, I guess. I don't know what's going on. Or is he like going, oh shit, there's an escaped cat. He's about to pounce. I'm going to have to protect the queen. What exactly is going on, folks? That's my question with Egyptian queen. And it's a remarkable painting in several ways. Typically with Frazetta, you guys know this, many of his paintings are, many of the famous ones are like action. Okay, if you look at Conan paintings and stuff, it's like Conan kicking ass and there's like all kinds of dead people laying around him and shit. With this one, it is the action about to unfold, which is really interesting, right? So there you go. I'm just putting that out there. I don't know. I'm really not sure what Frank was getting at. As PBR said, maybe they changed it. Let me get back. Shadowhawk Talks is here. Hello, Shadowhawk. Living Dead Girl, most cool. And well, there, and that's easy for you to say, Steve. Steve Harrison is here. Hello, Steve. Redames, I'll take a looky-loo tonight. Living Dead Girl. It is on Tubi, folks. Quite interesting. PBR, that's crazy about issue 23. Living Dead. Is that what that? More Vivant. Okay. I like the sound of the theremin in The Living Dead Girl. Yes. Theremins are bitching. Yes, they are. Quite nice indeed, folks. Dame says, hail all in the chat. Steve says, welcome, Redames. Hello, hello. The trailer rocks enough for me. Great recommendations tonight. Oh, we've just gotten started. Wait until you see some of the stuff that's lined up here tonight. Gotham City Comics is with us. Hello, Gotham City. Hello, everybody. Mike, I received the books, and we looked at last night on Gratu's channel. I might need to order more pretty soon. Wow, great, man. That is excellent. Very good news, my good man. It's amazing. It's absolutely, it just gets me. Like, look, I'm like out of touch with the local comic shop type of world. You're in it. You know vastly more about it than probably anybody in the chat. But it's amazing. Like, for instance, with Splash of Horror, those seem to sell out really quickly in your store. As you were telling me, I think you never got any online orders for those. And I'm assuming that with the book, with Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition, and folks, that is what Gotham is talking about here. If you came in late, this is my brand new book. It's Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. 126 pages, 12 complete stories in original art form, dozens of preliminary original art and published full color covers. It'll blow your mind. Okay. For example, here's a classic Chamber of Chills with a great preliminary sketch cover in color by Warren Kremer. That it is just, it's amazing to see what these guys did as far as, like, you know, doing preliminary layouts and stuff for covers. But of course, you know, as I was saying, you also have 12 full-length original art stories. Now, these are just exactly the way, you know, that they should look. They have the blue line, paste up, whatever. This particular story, called Invasion, is by the one and only Jack Sparling. Fantastic artist from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. And it is one hell of a sci-fi horror tale. It is just the ultimate tale of paranoia, man. Paranoia turned real. That's why I did a close-up, so it's on the inside cover. Look at that freaking, that is just beautiful. So as you can see with this one, I just picked up a random copy. This is 56 of 100, for example. So they're all signed and numbered, folks. There are only 100 copies in the first printing. They're not going to last. I am on issue number 39. So 39 are gone. Actually, 38 are gone. I'm on issue 39. After 1 week. Okay, so I've almost sold 40 in a week, to give you an idea. I think by the end of May, they're going to be sold out. There are unpublished covers. This is a fantastic Warren Kremer unpublished cover. It was supposed to be for Black Cat Mystery in the early 1950s, probably 52, 53. Never got published, and it is wickedly cool. So there you go. Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. I'm going to drop that link in the chat once again. My good fiends, for anybody that is interested, there it is. That is my website, ghostclinic.com. It's all, it focuses on pre-code horror comics, ghostclinic.com. So if you're interested in pre-code horror stuff or sci-fi, pre-code science fiction, bookmark my website, ghostclinic.com. I'm always putting up new articles on there and so forth. And that is where you can actually purchase my book. As a matter of fact, you know what I should do? Instead of just like telling you about it, I should just take you over there real quick, like, folks. Now, here it is. Here's your ghostclinic.com. I just love it. That is a cover for Fantastic Fears number 8. I just love that cover. In any case, as you scroll down, and if you, of course, it's got several different. Yeah, here we go. That is Mr. Mystery number 8 right there, folks. One of my favorites. It's just so hilarious, man. The zombie creature coming through the woman's porthole on a ship. Yes, folks, they always come through the woman's porthole. That's what I'm saying. And that is Mr. Mystery number 8. In any case, I digress. Let's scroll on down, shall we? Here we go. It's pinned on top of ghostclinic.com. Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. This art book is new for 2024, features 126 pages of pre-code comic book content, rarely, if ever, seen in print. That is true, folks. 12 original art comic book stories from artists such as George Roussos, great artist who did a ton of stuff for EC Comics. Eugene Hughes, of course, did a ton of stuff for Stanley Morris, for Weird Chills, for example. Some of the best stuff. Really good stuff. Robert Webb, great artist. Bob Powell, Sid Check, and more. So if you scroll down on the website, it's $14.95 for everybody. Now, the way I've got it split out here on the site is that you have U.S. customers, United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia. So it's $14.95 plus whatever shipping it would be from one of those zones, or you can just simply click on eBay, buy it on eBay. That'll take you over to eBay and you can get it there. I've already gotten really great reviews that have blown my mind. People just literally contacted me and they love it. They love the book, folks. I am so pleased. I can't tell you, it's one of those things I love hearing back from people that have read the book or at least gotten it and they've looked through it and, they know what's going on with it, because I think I did a really good job. And a lot of people are definitely loving this book. There's no doubt about it. And I do want to mention one more thing before we get on with Tubi. Folks, Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition book, is now officially in the vaults of the Library of Congress. Yes, it was delivered there several days ago. They received it. They've officially cataloged it. It is now part of the Library of Congress. Yes. It's in the vault, which is like 5 feet of reinforced concrete and steel. So if there's a freaking nuclear holocaust, that sucker's going to be around for 200 years. And then somebody can discover it 200 years later and be like, what the hell is this shit? What's a comic book? You know, stuff like that. Things that people will say 200 years from now. Sadly, okay? They should still be reading pre-code horror comics by then, but they probably at that point they're mutated and they've sprouted 3 heads and 5 legs. You know, who knows? Who knows, folks? But there you go. That's my little baby. That's my book, Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition, available now. Check it out. Go just, zing on over if you're interested. Holy shit. Okay, now wait a second. Maybe it's true. God, Jesus Christ, dudes. Okay, now there's... Wow. Hold on. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm blind, guys. Okay, I just lost my eyesight. Once again, folks, that's the website, ghostclinic.com. That is my website. You can buy it directly from the website or simply click on the eBay link and you can buy it off of eBay. You know, your patronage is greatly appreciated. Okay, let me get back up. Let me get with the chat here for a second because I know people have chimed in. Didn't Dawn of the Dead come out around? No, Dawn of the Dead was 1979. So that was, believe it or not, 7 years before Zombie-Thon came out. Shadowhawk Talks reminds me of the old movie with the Nazi zombies in the lagoon. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there is Zombie Lake. That is the Jean Rollin film. And there's also the film with Peter Cushing. The hell was that thing called? Fuck, I forget. Depths of Terror. Up from the Depths. Something like that. About the zombies that come up. Brooke Adams is in it. And Peter Cushing. The fuck was that thing called? Well, something like that. But you're right, Apex. There's another one with zombies in the water. It is hilarious. I have the original EERIE 9. Ooh, good one. Frank Rosetta painting, great magazine. Yes, the early EERIEs. The early EERIEs and Creepies. I think you guys would agree. They're just fantastic. Like, I'm talking when I say early, like up to like, I don't know, issues 40, maybe issues 50. The first 50 issues of each, were really exceptional with amazing artists, Steve says, Frazetta is known to redo paintings, sometimes subtle, but others big. Even the classic Conan with Gal at his feet went through some tweaks. I always thought the cat belongs to her and creeping up on the sword guy. Interesting take, Werewolf. That is interesting. The Enoch is on strike. That's Steve. Fembat coming soon. Shadowhawk Talks is on the scene. That's Apex Comics, folks. Fembat's coming around the corner, and Fembat's coming after your ass. So get ready, okay? And hopefully when that happens, Apex can officially announce it here on the show. That would be fantastic. Apex says the cat is her pet. Okay, the cat is her pet, but it's broken off of the chain, Apex. And you can see that clearly in the painting. The chain is broke. That cat's starting to prowl, and she's looking fearful. So what is actually going on there? Yeah, her eyes are totally going to the cat because the cat's broken off its chain. You can see the chain dangling there. It's broken, folks. I could find out from Sarah. She has a great knowledge of her grandpa's paintings. She would probably know, Redames. You're absolutely right. That it's just gotten off the chain and her eyes are locked on the cat. Right. Yes. So okay. Some LCS are out of touch with YouTube. Well, true. Yeah, but Gotham City's right on the scene. Folks, if you go over to Gotham City Comics, his channel, or just go to Batcave Comics, you will find his YouTube channel on there. But he's constantly updating with new stuff that he gets into the shop, which is fantastic. Hey, Mike, I just purchased your book off of eBay. Thank you for posting the item. I'll see if I can share it with some of my friends. Thank you, Redame. I appreciate that, my good man. You are a scholar and a gentleman, and not necessarily in that order. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate that. PBR says, that is so cool. You're in the Library of Congress. I know. Folks, if Horror Mike can be in the Library of Congress, so can you. Oh, my God. It is hilarious. My good fiends. My good fiends. Hammer film goggles on the Nazis. Yeah, that's Up from the Depths. The shit. Why am I've got the movie poster, for Christ's sake. Yeah, it's Brooke Adams and Peter Cushing is in the freaking movie. Egyptian Queen original sold for $5.4 million in 2019 and well worth it. Hey, Frank Frazetta can compete with biggies, okay? There is no, of course he should be able to. I mean, Jesus, let's just be real about this, folks. He beats the shit out of a lot of modern artists who sell paintings for 50 million bucks, and it's a fucking joke, okay? That's all there is to it. He should be getting way more than 5.4 million for his original oils and acrylics. Good Lord. Oh. Wait, did I go to the right site? It took me to eBay. Well, yeah, it should be on the eBay site. Werewolf says, anyone in the chat? Well, Redames just bought it, Werewolf. So there you go. And considering Australian, international delivery, he might get his before you do, before you get yours. I don't know. Hopefully you're going to get yours next week. That's what I'm saying right now. Steve says, EERIE and Creepy were getting stale. Then Corbin and Wrightson came around in the 70s to revive them a bit. Yep. Then heavy metal stole them away. And then heavy metal lasted, really, its heyday was 77 to 84. And then it dropped, right? So that's kind of how these things go. In reality, EERIE and Creepy actually kept the quality going a bit longer than heavy metal, in my opinion, because God, EERIE and Creepy were like mid 60s. They were good. They were good for years and years, man. She's looking at the cat and thinking, kill sword guy. Cat escaped because of sword guy. Just my take. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Werewolf. So the sword guy wants her dead. He's been ordered to kill her, right? That's kind of what I'm thinking. You're very welcome, Warlock. Thank you, Redames. I appreciate that. My good man. I enjoy the book. I know that you shall, my good friend. Steve Harrison, Shockwaves. Yeah, thank you, Steve. It's Shockwaves, Apex. Now that would be a nice double feature. Shockwaves with Zombie Lake. I don't know if I can survive. I don't know, man. Werewolf says, if I throw a bucket of paint on a canvas, will somebody give me 20 million? You choose the color. There you go. That's, was a big fan of Epic Illustrated. That was another good one. I mean, folks, I've got some surprises for you. Wait until next week. Wait until next Friday. Okay. Now, before we go on, this works into what's going on with next Friday's show. I'm glad you brought that up, PBR. Steve says Vampirella, renewed interest in Warren. EERIE killed serial continued characters. Okay. All right, look, folks, here's what's happening. Next week, there's a couple of things going on. Guess what? The theme of next week is shock and rock. Yes, it's rock and roll horror themed movies. And boy, are there a ton of them. Of course, I'm talking about, we're going back to the 50s. We're going, 50s, 60s. Movies like Horror of Party Beach, total rock and horror type of film. Going into the 70s, Phantom of the Paradise, even into the 80s and 90s. There's a ton of rock and roll. You got rock bands that sold their soul for rock and roll, shit like that, there's a ton. And some of them are quite outrageous. We're going to be covering those. Kevin Hellon, guy in the chat, my good fiend for many, many years, and I will be doing the show next week. So you're not going to want to miss it. Now, in case you missed this before, I've known Kevin since the late 70s, folks. Yeah. I've known Kevin Hellon for like 45 freaking years. That's what I'm saying right now. And we were in Southern California, basically. Now, for a while, we were living up in Lancaster, California, which is like the high desert. Now, that's 70 miles or so above Los Angeles. Really not that far. I mean, going down to Los Angeles to see shows was easy, pretty relatively easy. But then, of course, when I moved to Orange County, which is actually 25 miles below Los Angeles, there was just punk rock, rock and roll venues were everywhere, right? So you could go see the Circle Jerks and Fear one week, and then I could go see freaking Supertramp the next week. And that would happen. That literally would happen, and then the next week I'd go see the Scorpions, It was just freaking crazy. It was like you got kind of spoiled in that area in Southern California. Every freaking group went there to play. Kevin can attest to this. Jesus Christ, it was just totally crazy. So we went to gigs together. We went to multiple gigs, man. All kinds of freaking gigs. I'll tell you a little story. It's kind of quick, but I think you'll find this rather interesting. We went to this gig, and it was like 6 or 7 punk rock groups were playing at a skating rink in Whittier. Now, I want to say that the skating rink was either called the Galaxy Skating Rink or it was called the Whittier Skating Rink, right? One of the two. And this is like early 80s, circa 81, 82. And the Mau Mau's were playing there. I believe the Circle Jerks were playing at this show. And towards the end of the show, this was like at least a 4-hour show, folks. There were like 6 or 7 groups playing. towards the end of the show, somebody came up and they had a joint, right? And we're like, hey, wow, okay. You know, let's smoke some pot and leave. And yeah, we smoked this joint with this guy. And we didn't know it. Little did we know the joint was laced with PCP. So I'm inside the skating rink, you know, and I start feeling really funny. And I realize that I'm starting to lose my eyesight. And so I tell Kevin, I'm like, Kevin, man, you got to get me out of here. Lead me out to the lawn. I can't breathe. I can't see. You know, things are literally everything went black. And it was like 1 billion stars were exploding in my face. So he led me outside and I sat down on the grass. And after like, I don't know, 10 or 20 minutes, it all passed. But it was just like this incredible reaction to this laced pot, you know? And I remember that totally. It was an awesome show. By the way, it was a totally great show. Really like the Orange County, Los Angeles punk rock scenes were so good. Were so good back in the day. And as I was saying before, I was kind of like, I think Kevin did the same thing too. You know, it was, you don't, like for me, I was like, hey, look, I like going to see the Circle Jerks or, you know, Black Flag, but I also like to go see, you know, the Scorpions or whatever, you know. God, Ray Charles, for fuck's sake. You know, I was never like, yes, I'm just a punk rocker. I mean, that's just, to me, was like so limiting because there were so many great, you know, there's so many great musical genres. That's what I'm saying, folks. Okay. That's your story. There we go. Kevin came in, Galaxy Roller. God. That was it. Man, what a night. What a hell of a night. As I recall, Kevin, it was definitely the Mau Mau's were there. And I could have sworn it was the Circle Jerks. There were like 7 groups that were, you know how they did those. I know that Kevin, obviously, they living down there, being down there, they would, you know, just have like a ton of punk groups playing it in one gig. And of course, they would all do like 30-minute sets. So if you had like 7 or 8 punk groups, it ended up being like 4 hours, you know, in between, like waiting for the other groups to set up and stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was really great. I just saw a thing on the Scorpions. Just saw the Scorpions in Vegas a week ago. God, incredible PBR. Absolutely fantastic group. Holy shit. Now, musically speaking, everything about the Scorpions, I don't know. It's just hard to really. I think they were one of the greats in that era. I mean, they just blew away a ton of those freaking quote unquote like 80s metal groups. I think the Scorpions were on another level. Let's put it that way, folks. Okay, I'm going back up. Steve says, Werewolf, watch Bucket of Blood for more art. Bucket of Blood, folks. Roger Corman, Dick Miller, starring Dick Miller. If you have not seen Bucket of Blood, you got to see the film. It is one of the great films. It not only is it a great parody or satire of the beatnik movement, it's a satire of art and the eye of the beholder. It's really, really good. It is sharp. It's right on. It's Charles Griffith who wrote the screenplay, who also wrote the screenplay to Little Shop of Horrors and Creature from the Haunted Sea. One of the great writers, in my opinion, of the 1950s, Charles B. Griffith, doesn't get enough credit. Leaving, better be there next week. Modern art is a business subsidized by money needing to be laundered. Kevin Hellon is right on money. Yes. So well put. My good man. My good man. Good Lord. Dudes is classic, although not horror. Conan by... Yeah, and the thing is, you know, when people talk about modern art, it's an interesting thing. It's like, look, you know, you can look at some... You know that an artist is sincere when you look at the stuff, the body of work. Some modern art is sincere and some of it is good. It depends on what it is and how it's done. But as Kevin says, yeah, modern art is like, as a genre, it's typically just subsidized garbage. You know, God, there are some really weird. I'm going to have to look into this some more. And I don't want to say too much, but I do believe that Jackson Pollock, the famous modern artist, one of the guys that kicked out, he's one of the guys that, you know, threw paint on a canvas. I think he was a CIA plant. I think he was actually a concoction of the CIA. I believe. I'm just saying right now, folks. I'm fairly sure. I was reading an article about this, and they were talking, and they were saying that there was a definite link found between Pollock and the fact that he was being subsidized by I don't know, you know, someone within the CIA during that period of time when he became famous. I've never seen. There are a couple of Jackson Pollock films. I gotta look into it, folks. Dudes is classic, although not horror. Conan, Hunter Biden, done in some white medium. Okay. Where the fuck is that? There we go. Yes, 16th, 17th, 18th century art's great. The Mau Mau's. Oh, God. Okay. Henry Rollins did a doc on Tubi a few years back on the punk rock scene. Yes, there are exemplary documentaries about punk rock and rock and roll in general on Tubi, folks. Check it out. The selection is fantastic of documentary films on Tubi. Dinosaur Jr. There you go. Oh, man. I had spirits for the first time at Dinosaur Jr. gig back in the 80s. Threw up, passed out. Big Q when I heard my mate banging on the door 20 minutes later. Dinosaur Jr., man. Steve Harrison and Punks did festival. I usually about form into other. Okay. I can't do it. Rollins' old book, Pissing in the Gene Pool, was not so sure. Okay. Daninsky is here. Hello, Daninsky. Good to see you, my good man. Bucket of Blood. Great to see Dick Miller in a lead role for a change. You're absolutely right. And Dick Miller deserved more lead roles, folks. Dick Miller is one of my favorite 50s, 60s, 70s. Jesus Christ. If you watch, just check out the 1970s, the original Piranha with Dick Miller as the country club owner, you know. God, he's comedy gold, Jerry. He's comedy gold. Just one of the greats, man. Kevin Hellon. And you know, the thing about Dick Miller, too, is that look into the 80s. You know, we're talking about films like Chopping Mall, Gremlins. That's a hint about things to come, folks. Gremlins. Okay. Dick Miller, think about this. Dick Miller started his acting career with Corman in the early 50s. That dude was consistently doing movies obviously into the 2000s, into the 21st century. Dick Miller. I mean, a ton of freaking movies. Here we go. Kevin says Circle Jerks, Mau Mau's, The Mentors, Eddie and the Subtitles. You're right. Eddie and the Subtitles, Shattered Faith, and a couple more. What a lineup, folks. Holy shit. Good Lord. Eddie and the Subtitles, man. The best things in life are fucked, but you can save them for the birds and the ducks. Just give me money. That's what I want. The old Eddie and the Subtitles. Eddie the Subtitled version. Never mind the Pollocks. Here's the Eddie and the Subtitle. You're killing me, werewolf. Horror Mike going full Alex Jones on Jackson Pollock. I wish I could do. I need to polish my Alex Jones impersonation. Yeah, well, you know, back in the late 60s, early 60s, the CIA contacted Pollock and they were like, hey, can you splash some paint on a canvas? And wait, hey, look, we've got a lot of money for you. That's what happened. And then, of course, the Viet Cong came in and they started doing a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Okay, folks, I'm coming back. I'm sorry. Steve Harrison, you mean Alice Cooper, Iggy Pop to name some great rock docs? Hello, Daninsky. Daninsky is here, folks. R is here. Hello, R. How you doing? Well, you are a bit late, but you know what? It's great to see you here. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Where were Eddie and the Subtitles French? Oh my God. They had, I tell you, Werewolf, I had a Eddie and the Subtitles album for the longest time. Good, really great. Just if you wanted to consider it straight ahead rock and roll, like classic garage rock and roll, perfect, beautiful. But they were so fucking sarcastic. These motherfuckers, Eddie, the lead guy. Well, Kevin and I knew Eddie. As a matter of fact, Kevin knew Eddie more than I did because Eddie was a real fucking asshole. And he never really got close to people that much. But man, on stage, this guy was so amusing. He was so hilarious. And that group jammed. They rocked. Eddie and the Subtitles, man. Holy shit. Good times. Good times, folks. Good times. Everybody's saying their hellos. Great to see it. Okay, folks. I know. I've been meandering, okay? Been meandering a little too much here, and I'm going to bring back Tubi, because that's what we're freaking here for. All right. Now, look. Once again, I was trying to find a trailer for Vampire Time Travelers 1998. It's a horror comedy. All right. I could not find a trailer that was worth a shit. They all just look like 240p or 360p at best. I'm not going to show you that kind of crap, folks. I'm just not going to put you through that. So, and I was surprised because it's a 1998 film. You would expect that there was at least be a really good DVD quality freaking trailer. No. Check it out for yourself on YouTube. It's amazing. In any case, here's how it goes. If you go to Tubi, you can watch the trailer on Tubi. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I would recommend it. This is the description. Pledge Week for a group of sorority sister wannabes turns into a bloody battle against vampires and other supernatural creatures with a ton of TNA in this film, folks. It is just loaded with freaking TNA. It's only an hour and 6 minutes, right? But they deliver a lot of TNA in that hour and 6 minutes and a lot of fangs, okay? A lot of fangs, a lot of fanny. Let's just put it that way. Now, this next one, you guys may have seen this movie. This is really quite weird. Famous Ghost Stories from 1961. This was actually a series that never took off. Okay, here it is. Here's how they explain it. Oh, I see some bullshit happening here. Okay, there we go. In this pilot for an unproduced supernatural anthology series, Vincent Price hosts the tale of a jazz musician tormented by his ex-girlfriend's ghost. Okay? Yeah, that's because this movie was a film originally called Tormented, right? Starring Richard Carlson. So what they did is they took the film Tormented and they broke it down and made it into this pilot for a show called Famous Ghost Stories, starring Vincent Price, where he was the narrator. He would introduce the various stories. That was sadly never produced. So there you go. Strange, really strange. But if you want to catch some really rare Vincent Price stuff, watch Famous Ghost Stories, because he comes on at the beginning and he's talking about the series. Then he's actually in the show, right? He's talking further about the story. And it's very interesting. Well, it's Vincent Price, for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? If you love Vincent Price, you may not have seen this footage, and I highly recommend it. Famous Ghost Stories. Now, I can't highly recommend the next film, which is Land of Doom, 1986. Of course, it is another in a long line, folks, a long-ass line of ripoffs of Mad Max and Road Warrior type stuff. You guys know it. Everybody knows it. There were just a billion of these movies made after Mad Max and the Road Warrior. Traveling through a wasteland ravaged by a nuclear apocalypse, two survivors search for a rumored paradise while evading a metal-faced villain. And they're just like directly ripping off the fucking theme of Road Warrior, for fuck's sake. So there you go. It is Land of Doom. Okay. And fortunately, the trailer is a lot better than the film. And I've got the trailer here for you right now.
Beyond Apocalypse. The twisted fate of man creates a last great challenge and puts it in the hands of a woman.
All right. If you can keep up, you can come along. But you have to take care of yourself.
Deborah Reynolds, star of Dallas, leads a band of outlaw survivors against the road pirates. Cannibals, wasters, and mutant dark raiders of the future on the road to destruction. Across the face of a scorched earth. In a land of doom. Land of Doom.
Well, I lost viewers on that one. I don't blame you either. Good Lord. It's Land of Doom, folks. More like Movie of Doom. Good Lord. All right. Let's move up. Now, we're getting to some real good ones here. 1974, The Night Porter. This kind of falls into the range of Nazi exploitation films, but not quite. Okay. It's a legit film. It's a legit film, but there are some exploitation elements to it. I don't care what anybody says. It's still pretty good, though. Okay? Check it out. A concentration camp survivor rekindles her sadomasochistic relationship with her lover, a former SS officer, now a night porter at a Vienna hotel. Now, the former SS officer is played by Dirk Bogarde, and the woman, the concentration camp survivor, is Charlotte Rampling. Believe it or not, folks, in this film, it's really well done. It's kind of weird and disturbing. It's The Night Porter. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. I've seen it. I'm probably not going to watch it again. I don't know. There it is. But I thought it was important because I did do a show about Nazi exploitation films. And at that time, Tubi did not have The Night Porter. So I thought it fair to bring this up, now, because it is kind of part of that Nazi exploitation subgenre. Now, folks, Replicator. We're getting back into the 90s, and we're going full Replicator. Oh, yes, we are. Check this shit out. Scientists on an army base develop a transformative technology that turns soldiers into scantily clad nymphets, who then morph into alligators. Yes, you heard that right, folks. That turns soldiers into scantily clad nymphets, who then morph into alligators. No shit. And boy, this film is batshit crazy. I've got the trailer. Let's check this out. It's also really hilarious.
When I turn the power on, a special transmitter attached to the headset will begin to send carefully calibrated radio waves, who will in turn begin to have sexual thoughts, which will then travel through the headset where it's converted to video. Any questions?
Will I get a Woody, sir?
The Pentagon is spending a fortune on this project, and I want to see what we're spending it on.
X-ray specs.
Prepare for phase 2 of the operation, Doctor.
The Replicator project?
Yes, sir! I can replicate an entire platoon of ass-kicking gung-ho Marines, except once they get there, they turn into bimbos! Military establishment doesn't really have a practical use for an assault force made up of genetically altered women with large breasts.
Long.
Funny little bastard.
Yes, folks, that's Replicator. Now, there's a couple of things I'll say about that. A, the trailer is quick. It's only a minute, 10 seconds. They really do a great job with that trailer. It's totally packed. It's hilarious. It's sexy. You've got, of course, Brink Stevens and a bevy of babes in that film, as well as, of course, the gators, which are nymphets that mutate into freaking humanoid alligators. What? It's Replicator, folks. That's what I'm saying. I highly recommend it. I've seen the film. Gunnar Hansen is in it. Brink Stevens, as I said. And it's just a lot of fun. It is hilarious. If you want a good laugh, watch Replicator. It's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of sexy fun. Let's put it that way. Let me get back to the chat. Let's see, where are we? Steve says some punk bands were very creative in names and member names, of course. I am one of us is laughing hysterically. Kevin says Famous Ghost Stories has some great theremin. Yes. And Vincent Price, folks. Theremin and Vincent Price. Come on. That's a combination made in heaven. Redame says, love me some Charlotte Rampling. Yes. And she is quite good in The Night Porter. Redames. That's a film. If you haven't seen it, you might want to check it out. It's a well done film. I have no. I think it's a very good, serious film, with some Nazi exploitation elements. That's, basically where it's at. Werewolf says, I dated an alligator once. You should have seen her when she was younger. Wait a second. I just have to do this. I dated an alligator once. You should have seen her when she was younger. Replicator looks like a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun, Steve Harrison. Dave Stevens' ex-wife, that is Brink Stevens. Steve Harrison is a great model for him in the day. Yep. Dave Stevens' doc is on Plex as well, Steve. Yes, indeed. Pop Culture Commerce is with us tonight. Hello, Pop Culture Commerce. Good to see you. That girl was crocodilated. That's well done, Pop Culture Commerce. And good to see you in the chat, my good man. All right, folks. Believe it or not, next up, I haven't seen this one. It's from 2022, so it's pretty new. It is Fireside Reading of Dracula. Yes, it's true. Experience Bram Stoker's Dracula like never before. Gildart Jackson's cozy fireside reading of the classic tale can be enjoyed by all ages. It could be good. He goes literally through the chapters. I plan on watching at least one chapter, and if it's good, I'll watch the whole damn thing. So that's Fireside Reading of Dracula. It is rather hilarious because he's got fangs in the picture there. Pretty funny. He's a funny guy. Okay. I'm going way ahead of myself here. Jesus Christ. Fucking A, man. All right. Yes, folks, they have gotten Mad Max 2 Road. Well, it's Road Warrior. I don't know why they want to call it Mad Max 2. I always knew it as, the first film was Mad Max. Second film was The Road Warrior. Third film was, the third film was Mad Max 3 Thunderdome. I guess something like that. But they call it Mad Max 2 Road Warrior. Any way you slice it, it is the greatest post-apocalypse film, one of the greatest, right up there with A Boy and His Dog. It's just top-notch filmmaking. It's maximum overdrive. It's Mad Max Road Warrior. It is now on Tubi, folks. They did have Thunderdome on Tubi. They also had Mad Max on Tubi. I don't know. Let's take a look real quick. Oh, yeah, they still have Mad Max. They don't have Thunderdome on here, but if you're interested, you can watch Mad Max first. If you haven't seen them, or if you haven't seen them in a long time, watch the original Mad Max and then watch Road Warrior. What a great combo. Holy shit. That is fantastic. Next up, folks, I bring this up because I like the Gremlins movies. They're fine. It's Joe Dante. You guys all know the Gremlins films. They have Gremlins and Gremlins 2, The New Batch. And they're now on Tubi. So if you haven't seen them, they're a lot of fun. Dick Miller is in Gremlins. He's freaking great. So many people. It's Joe Dante. What can be said? Don't water those little critters. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But even more hilarious than that, folks, more hilarious than the Gremlins, we got the critters. Oh, yeah. Check it out. Yeah, you're seeing that right. Critters 2 and Critters 3. They also have Critters 4. 4 Critters movie. I dare you. I dare any of you to watch all 4 of them in one sitting. You will totally lose your freaking minds, okay? If you haven't seen these, of course, these are lower budget takeoffs of Gremlins, okay? It fits right into the whole Gremlins thing. But they are rather, at least a couple of the movies are very amusing, in my opinion. D. Wallace, M. Emmett Walsh is in here. Billy Zane, for Christ's sake. I mean, good Lord. Lynn Shay is also in this, the first one. After escaping from a maximum security prison asteroid, a band of extraterrestrial flesh-eating criminals unwittingly land on planet Earth. And the first one is really amusing. I really, I like it. It's very entertaining. I think Critters 2 is actually more amusing than the first one. As it says here, when 2 men find a bunch of exotic eggs, the critters soon hatch and unleash a hungry horde of ugly little monsters on their small Kansas town. Oh, those critters. And guess what, folks? I got a great... This is a scene from Critters 2. It's the hungry heifer scene. Check this out. Critters 2, the hungry heifer scene. Okay, let's break down a couple of things first, folks. A, the blonde alien that comes in to kick ass with the other guy is unbelievably hot. I mean, yeah, hungry heifers. I do think of cows and milk when I watch that sequence because of her. Let's just put it that way. Good Lord. Milk, it does a body good. Let's just put it that way, folks. Not only that, it's hilarious. Like he shoots the hair off the one critter. And he looks in the mirror and he's like, bitchin'. I don't know. It's just so ridiculous that it's endearing. Okay. The critters are endearing. They're hilarious. And I don't know. I enjoy the films. Look, if you're not looking to get too much out of them, you're going to like the Critters films. And once again, on Tubi, for the first time, my good fiends, Critters 2, Critters 3, and Critters 4, all on Tubi. You could do a marathon, but if you value your sanity, you might do 2 at a time. Okay? That's what I'm saying. Funny stuff, though. Really funny stuff. Oh, chud. Okay, let me get back to the chat, though. R says that cover on the Gator one is nice. Yes, it's Repligator. That is Repligator R. Werewolf says Mad Max is basically a documentary of the Australian outback. Crazy people out there. Our Critters was great. So was Gremlins. Yes, Critters was just a low-budget knockoff of Gremlins. But that being said, there are some really hilarious freaking scenes in the Critters movies. I like them a lot. They're more lowbrow than Gremlins. That's the thing about Critters. It's more low budget and more lowbrow. The male actor in that scene looks like the love child of Tim Curry and Hugh Laurie. You're right. You're right. Check this out, folks. This is what Kevin's done. Yes, you're absolutely right. You know, the thing is that I never really looked at her much. I was looking at that chick with the amazing tits. Okay, the alien blonde. I was just like, wow. Okay, I'm talking about quintuple wows on that, folks. I'm not kidding either. Holy Toledo. And I've never seen her in another movie. I've got to look her up, and see if she was in other films. Because she just has that particular look that I don't think so. I don't think she was in other films. Reco Veralius is here. Hello, Reco Veralius. Wow, that critter scene was pure cinema. It is. Well, it's pure something. That's a fact. It is pure hilarity, Rico Veralius. I'm telling. Yes, Hugh Laurie. He does. He really does. All right, folks. Check it out. Good Lord. It's Chud. Now, a strange thing happened to Chud on the way from Chud and Chud 2. Chud, the original film, is actually just pretty much a straight ahead horror film, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's quite a movie. There is no doubt about that. I like this film a lot. From 1984, John Hurd, Daniel Stern. Really good cast. I mean, seriously, folks. Okay. A photographer and his girlfriend become aware of a conspiracy involving a corrupt official and cannibalistic monsters who dwell in NYC sewers. It's a really good film. It's a solid. It might be in the top. I would probably put it in the top 20 1980s horror films. Chud. I mean, it's really quite good. I don't think I'm overstating that. And I've got a trailer here for you to back that up.
Beneath the city of New York are living catacombs, an endless maze of subterranean tunnels, unfit for anything human, unauthorized for anything experimental,
Hold it! There's something moving up ahead in the tunnel!
and unlikely to bring anyone down there. So, they're coming up. Chud. Chud, check your basement and your bathroom. Keep off the street and try to hide. But remember, the dark is their place. The night is their time. And tomorrow, the only things living in the city of New York will be Chud. Chud. Cannibalistic, humanoid, underground dwellers. Chud. They're not staying down there anymore.
There you go, folks. The trailer for Chud. Absolutely. It's a really good film. There's no doubt about that. No way, no matter how you slice it, Chud is a damn good 80s sci-fi horror flick with very good acting, very good creatures. The creatures are quite good. They're different, and it's just overall a very well done film. Of course, it was very successful. And then a few years later, they, of course, did a sequel, Chud 2, Bud the Chud. Yes, Bud the Chud, a completely playing it as a horror comedy. Now, here's the thing about Bud the Chud, right? As it says here, a high school prank turns deadly when two teens break into a secret government lab and steal and awaken a frozen cannibalistic humanoid corpse. Played by Garrett Graham. Oh, it's Garrett Graham here, folks. But also, if you look at the lineup of people in this freaking movie, you got Garrett Graham, who is fantastic. Garrett Graham, Phantom of the Paradise, also Demon Seed, a ton of movies. Garrett Graham is freaking awesome. Larry Linville. Okay. You know Larry Linville? Well, I'm going to click on his name here real quick. Larry Linville. Now, wait a second. Okay, he's in those films apparently as well. But Larry Linville was also in I Dream of Jeannie, right? Norman Fell, folks. Yes, Norman Fell. Yes. Who is there? There's the spin-off, The Ropers, 1980 with Norman Fell. But also, if you haven't seen The Boneyard from 1991, it's Norman Fell and Phyllis Diller in a horror comedy. Well, but it's less comedy. It's more horror. And it is freaking great. The Boneyard is fantastic. Highly recommended. It is on Tubi, folks. Look up The Boneyard. What a freaking movie. Phyllis Diller and Norman Fell are really great in it. They're not particularly, it's not comedic, particularly, okay? But also June Lockhart is in this film. Rich Hall, for Christ's sake. It's quite a lineup of actors. Garrett Graham is Bud the Chud. Oopsie. I hear the strains. They're starting the movie. No, you can't. Okay. In any case, look, it's a totally different take than Chud. Obviously, you know, they play it for the horror comedy aspects, but it's also amusing. So based upon that, I mean, I've seen it a couple of times. I can recommend it. It is definitely not as good as Chud. Chud is actually quite a good horror film, and I highly recommend it. Both are currently on Tubi, folks. And last but not least, definitely not least, 1995 sci-fi horror film Project Metal Beast. If you haven't seen this one, check it out. It is on Tubi. It's weird as hell, and it's really good. I liked it a lot. You know, some people may not like it. Depends on your taste, but check it out. All right. A scientist in charge of a metallic synthetic skin breakthrough goes rogue and tests it on corpses he's stored in a lab. But one undead man is waiting. Starring Kim Delaney, Barry Bostwick, Kane Hodder, Dean Schofield, for Christ's sake. I mean, that's a, you know, these are really good actors in this film, and it's very well done. And the creature is really cool. He's really freaking cool. I like this movie a lot. Project Metal Beast from 1995. Unfortunately, my good fiends, I could not find, once again, a trailer worth a shite to show you guys. It was all 240p or 360p bullshit. Looked like crap, and I'm not going to subject you to that type of subpar trailer activity. Okay? That's what I'm saying. So you're just going to have to watch the film, Project Metal Beast. I think you're going to dig the hell out of it. It is currently on Tubi, my good fiends. Let me get back to the chat quick here. R says, yes, Hugh Laurie. I thought he was Bob Geldof. Oh, my God. And that's possible, Redames. Now that you mentioned that, too, Bob Geldof. Holy shit. I don't like Mondays, for Christ's sake. Werewolf by Lunchtime. Hugh Laurie was great as Prince George in Blackadder the Third. Yes. He's hilarious. I love the Blackadder series. Oh, my God. It's so good. So good. Agreed, Werewolf. Yes. I'm so hungry I could eat a whole... okay. I'm so hungry I could eat a whale omelet and still... a whale omelet and still have room for a dolphin on toast. Verdane says, they filmed it at the Chambers Street station. That's the station near where I work. Fantastic. That's Chud. Correct, Redames? That is fantastic. Well, folks, that's it. That's what I got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed that lineup because, well, it was a hell of a lineup. And next week, check it out. A couple of things. Get ready for some shock and rock. Yes, Kevin Hellon and I are going to present unto you some of the most incredible rock and roll horror films of all time. And we're talking about from the 50s into the 2000s. You know, that's what we're looking at for next week's show. The most outrageous, some of the most insane freaking rock and roll horror flicks you may have never seen and you may never want to see again. after you've seen them. But some that are fantastic, of course. We're going to dive deep into some of the greatest flicks that are, have a tinge of rock and roll. Phantom of the Paradise, one of my favorites. Brian De Palma, one of his great early films. I mean, holy shit, folks, if you haven't seen that, it is sadly not on Tubi, but there are many others that are on Tubi, and we're going to be taking a look at those, plus other stuff. I mean, it's not just limited to Tubi films for next week. You're going to want to check this out. It's going to be a hell of a show. And I will be revealing my sponsor. Yes, Horror Mike's got a sponsor, folks, believe it or not. And I will be revealing the sponsor next week on this show. So you're going to want to tune in for that. I think you'll find it rather amusing and quite interesting. Let me get back to the chat one last time. Werewolf says Hugh Laurie was great as Prince George and Blackadder Theater. Okay, I saw that one. Yep, saw that. Yes, indeed. All right, Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. Well, that's on the list, Dave Janes. You're absolutely correct. There could not be a shock and rock show without Kiss meets Phantom of the Park. And you know what, Dave Janes, that was actually on Tubi for a while. This was a couple of years ago. I don't think it's on there anymore. Let me do a quick check, folks. I just want to do a quick little look-see. But I don't think so. Good Lord, motherfucker. There. Unfortunately not. Nevertheless, we shall be covering that. Oh God, let me get off this scramble tone right here and go back. Oopsie daisy. There we go. There. That shall be covered. That's a good one. Sounds great. Sounds great. Yes, it will sound great next week, as well as look great, Art. I'm telling you, because it's going to be a shock and rocker like you've never seen before. Clash of the Tit fans, folks. Werewolf by Lunchtime said it first. Gotham City Comics says, your book is my indie pick of the week for next week. Folks, there you go. Holy Toledo, officially from Gotham City Comics. My book, folks. Once again. Oh. There it is. My book, Pre-Code Horror Comics, the original art edition. Right there. It is the official pick of the week by Gotham City Comics for next week. Okay. And you can get yours, a copy, signed and numbered by yours Ghoulie, Horror Mike, at this particular location. I'm going to drop this one more time in the chat, folks. There it is. If you're interested in picking up a copy, if you love horror comics, if you love pre-code horror comics, this is a must. Pre-code horror comics, the original art edition, you're going to dig the hell out of it. Go on over to ghostclinic.com. That's my website. You can buy it directly off the website, or you can get it off of eBay. There are links to both on the site. I think you are going to dig the hell out of this book. It's something that had to be done. If you read the introduction to the book, it's a 4-page intro. It's kind of long, by yours Ghoulie, Horror Mike. you'll realize that a lot of the stuff in this book has never seen print before. And it was a crime that it had never seen print. Okay. I wanted to bring this stuff to print because I think people should be able to see it in print as opposed to just digitized. I mean, come on, man. The whole thing about, we're talking about 1940s, 1950s, golden age, Atom Age, pre-code horror comics. Who the fuck wants to see that shit digitally? I don't know about you, but fuck that shit. Okay. It's in a book now. Okay. And this book is now registered and resides in the Library of Congress. Officially. There you go, folks. Pre-code horror comics original art edition. Pick up a copy at ghostclinic.com. I think you're going to dig the hell out of it. It really, it turned out very well, if I do say so myself. Werewolf by Lunchtime says, hopefully my book will be in my hairy hands sometime next week. I think it shall be. And by the way, Gotham City, thank you for making my book the indie pick of the week. I really appreciate that. My good fiend. Dave James says, would you consider Pink Floyd's The Wall as rock horror? No. I mean, it's, I would consider it as rock depression, but not particularly rock horror. I mean, it's, I mean, there are a few horrifying aspects to it, Dave James, but as a film or as a concept, it's not horror. It's more wide ranging, when we talk about shock and rock and roll horror, it's got to be all that in that genre, such as Phantom of the Paradise, horror of Party Beach, for example, and as Kiss meets a Phantom of the Park, that type of stuff. It's got to be like that, where it's directly keyed in to horror elements. Don't get me wrong. I love Pink Floyd's The Wall. It's fantastic. And there are horror elements too. It's just not horror per se. So much in here I've never seen. Yes, Gotham City. That was my point with the book, folks. The whole thing about pre-code horror comics is to show people stuff that has never seen print before. That was the entire idea. I had to do it. This wasn't like something where I was like, oh, this would be such a great idea. I've seen all this stuff and I'd really like to put it into a book. No, this was something I had to do to put it in a book for me and for you, because there is no, look, you cannot, what is the point? What is the point of seeing this, for example, digitally, online? What's the point of it when you can't actually see it up close? And you can see the lines, you can see the blue line, you can see the paste up, you can see everything here clearly printed. That is the idea of this book. That's why I did it. I had to do it because it was something that nobody had done previously, and they should have. I mean, I don't know why they didn't, folks. I don't know why they didn't. Howard Nostrand, Dead End. This freaking story. Holy shit. I would love to make this story as part of a horror anthology, based upon pre-code comic book stories. This would be one of them. Dead End is fantastic. And Howard Nostrand he's just one of the greats. He's way up there, did a ton of stuff for Harvey. In any case, Pre-Code Horror Comics Original Art Edition, My Good Fiends. It is on my website, ghostclinic.com, and it's also available on eBay. So, it's 126 pages. It's $14.95. I mean, I'm not making much. I make almost $3 a copy. Between $2.50 and $3 a copy. That's what I make. And you know why? I don't want to rip people off. That's how books look. People make books and they basically say, well, this book cost me $10, so I'm going to charge $25. That is just complete bullshit, in my opinion. You may think that's fine. I don't. You know, I believe in saying like, well, okay, a 15 or 20% markup is good. That's it. And that's what I charge, you know. So if you get it on my website, once more, it's $14.95. On eBay, it is $16.95. That's because eBay charges, believe it or not, 15% for books. And if you promote the book on eBay, for instance, I am, it's an additional 5% I'm paying. So eBay gets 20% of $16.95 of my sale. Shit, man. You know, that's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Redames says, have a good night, Mike. I'm going to check out some of these movie recommendations. Thank you, Redames. And it's a pleasure to see you in the chat, and hope to see you next week, my good friend. Good night, Kevin. Saying good night, everyone. Just bought mine on eBay. Pop Culture Commerce, thank you. Pop Culture Commerce, I really appreciate it, my good man. Can't wait to see it. Thanks for putting it all together. Thank you, sir. Please, yeah, and all you guys, anybody that's bought it, that's received it or is going to receive it, whenever you do get it and you read it, come on the show or, you know, in the chat and talk about it. Say what, you know, give me positive, give me negative. I'm totally into everything. I would, you know, I appreciate it all, my good fiends. That's ridiculous, eBay. Yeah. But, you know, Amazon charges close to 30%. So eBay is actually more reasonable, believe it or not. Did you think of doing your book hardcover, Mike? Yeah, it flashed in my head, and then suddenly another $12 per copy also flashed in my head, and I was like, nope, ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna freaking happen. I'm just not that. It's me, folks. I'm here in my mobile home. I make all this stuff here, right? I do all the stuff. There is no way that I'm going to look. You would be paying $30 for this just to have it in the hardcover. I just don't think people would pay it. Now, if you think Werewolf, if you think people would pay $30 to have that in hardcover, I might do it. But I thought, well, it's a good thing. Look, the actual cover itself is pretty heavy duty. It's thick stock, you know, and it's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. Yeah. So I was very, very pleased with that. And they did a great job with the printing. They really did. They really did a great job with the printing, folks. It really turned out well. So I'm pleased with it. Maybe down the road I'll do a hardcover edition. I don't know, you know. Or maybe Simon and Schuster will pick it up. They'll be like, now, Horror Mike, you've got a mighty fine book on your hands. We'd like to make 10,000 copies in hardcover and pay you $100,000 up front. Deninsky, another great stream. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Deninsky. Thanks for being here, my good man. I would pay extra, Werewolf says. Be there all or be square. Thank you, my good fiends. I am glad. Oh, Gotham City is here again. You knocked it out of the ballpark with this one. Thank you, Gotham City. I'm going to have to quote you on that, Gotham City, because I'm putting my quotes, the reviews together right now. I've got some great freaking reviews on this book. I would love to get anybody else as well that has read the book, that's seen the book, that wants to give me some quotes for the book. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Gotham. I'm going to use that. You knocked it out of the ballpark with this one, Gotham City Comics, if you don't mind, my good friend. I am one of us says, thanks, Mike. A lot of fun tonight. We'll be watching some of your recommended Tubi movies. Thank you. I am one of us. I appreciate you, man. I prefer asterisk hardcovers over the floppies, trying to get them all. All right, folks. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will talk to all of you very soon. Of course, as is traditional on the Horror Mike Show, I leave you with the Starfires and their fabulous rendition of Linda. You guys all have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon.